Well, let's just do
I see you on my way. Did that not work for you? You rock. Thank you, sweetheart. We have 2 stampers coming around. Please make sure you're labeling, guys. I see a lot of really great drawn ways, but make sure we're also labeling, okay? Oh, what is a transfer time? So all that means is that energy is going this way, and it's like your disturbance, right? Your disturbance. That's going to send all the pulse. But the distinction of trying to process, if it is medium, then it's bringing the body to the energy flow. That's all the transfer system. When you talk that, when you touch it, a different type of way, then compare those two. Okay, so right now, though, just remember this. These are awesome. What's this? Roll. Make sure your interested is in your center one. Make sure you keep on the way. Thanks, guys. Am I running out of stamp stuff? Am I running out of like stuff in it? Nope. No. Just curious. What is today?
like the date.
The date? I forgot. It's the 23rd. Yeah, you can look up there too. Thank you.
It's also Monday.
It's Monday, but like.
It's the 23rd. Sorry about that. Totally forgot. You right? Does anyone need more time on the Berger? It looks like you guys got it done. Does anyone need a stamp still on the Berger? No, we're good? Well then, we have a lot to do today, so I'm going to progress forward. Thank you, Stanford. You did an awesome job, Isis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Isis. Okay. Alright guys, level 0, eyes up here in 3, 2, 1. Level 0, please. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Okay. So really quickly, I want to make sure everyone's on the same page going forward because we're going to switch our learning targets today. Okay? So I want to make sure everyone gets this in order to do today. Okay? So which one has the highest frequency? It kind of looks like those guitar strings just a little bit. Anthony, which one has the highest frequency? Let's see if I can do this. This shirt's very restricted.
E.
Which one?
E.
E! You're awesome. And why did you say E? I agree, but I need why.
Because it has more waves per second.
That's more waves per second, right? So you can just count these waves, and we always assume that this is 1 second. Whatever our picture is 1 second, okay? And just, extra. What unit is that? Do you remember? I'm going to be so hurt to get this right. I'm going to be so hurt. I'm hurt.
Hurts.
Hurts!
Oh.
I got it? Okay. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. But frequency isn't hertz, so that's just waves per 1 second. Alyssa, you love my jokes. Okay. I feel it'd be so funny, Okay. Anyway, we're good. Now, draw and label. I'm going to assume a lot of you drew really good pictures because I saw a lot. Does someone want to come up and draw their picture up here? Kyra, you want to pick somebody? You can pass it. Sorry. You already have the ball, though. This marker is kind of cruddy, though, so you might...
Oh, my God.
Here, this one's way better, so just... this one's way better. Alright guys, let's see if your picture is like Cinda's. Remember how we did that agree or disagree the other day? So she's going to go, and then if you agree or disagree, we're just going to raise our hand to agree, or raise our hand and we're going to disagree, okay? Yeah, so just draw and label your transverse wave. And then, Hannah, do you care if I pick on you? Okay, transverse wave. I know we just talked about that. What is a transverse wave while she's drawing?
It's a wave that goes perpendicular and it's going like to solid, like the way it's going, and it's like in a T.
Absolutely. So, what's flowing through our wave again? That was funny. I agree. Sorry, listen to Hannah now. Listen.
The medium.
You're so close. Okay, so when we're modeling our wave, like with that beaded chain, remember how we did that? What flowed through?
The energy.
The energy. Okay, so a transverse wave or any wave carries energy, right? Okay, but when that energy is being carried, you can just drop things. Okay, so when our energy's traveling through our wave, what's going on with our vibrating matter?
It's going perpendicular.
Yes, it's vibrating perpendicular. So I know I keep saying this perpendicular thing. That's good. Now label your amplitude and wavelength. I know I keep saying this perpendicular thing a lot. All I mean by perpendicular is just like a T, okay? Remember we talked about that? I promise it's going to come up a lot more. Our next learning target after this one is talking about another wave. Okay, I know I've only talked about transverse, but I promise there's another one. It's not perpendicular. It doesn't work the same way. Okay, so we're going to come back to this a lot. So if you don't get it now, I promise we're going to talk about it more. Okay, and then let's go back to students. How are we doing, students?
I guess okay.
Okay, that wavelength. Do we agree with your wavelength so far? Raise our hand. Juliana, what do you think? Do you agree? Yeah, I agree too. I think that wavelength labeling looks wonderful. LENGTH. Okay. What about amplitude, students? Where's our amplitude? Why don't you draw your center line in and it helps a little bit. Your center line?
Right?
Center line is where everything starts.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Alright, so now, do you know where amplitude is or do you want help?
What?
You're so close. That's okay. You can ask for help. That's okay. Anthony, what do you think?
I think the ball.
Come.
It's like how high the wave goes.
Yes, how the way goes away from the, what's this called again?
Center line.
Kiana, what is it called? It's okay, you're close.
Center line.
Center line. Okay, so it's from here to here. Do you remember that? Okay, is everyone on the same page now with what a wavelength is and what that amplitude is? Okay, and we're all good on frequency, right? Because we're going to have to use all three of those skills today. Okay, does anyone still need my help on those things?
No.
Okay, cool. So today, that's a good segue. Thank you, students, for doing that. We are doing 2 learning targets today. So the first half we're doing this one, the second half we're doing this one, okay? They're both revolving around relationships. Okay, so we're going to first talk about what a relationship is, and then we're going to go into this relationship, then this relationship, okay? So step 1 is our first relationship, and we're going to identify that between frequency and wavelength, okay? Does that make sense? So remember what frequency is, number of waves, and the wavelength, how far one wave, the length of one wave, how big one wave is.
Number of waves per second.
You're right. Number of waves per second. I like being corrected. Okay, so we're on number 10. So can everyone get to number 10? We're going to stay on number 10 all day today, okay? We're just going to progress through number 10 together.
How many pages can we get out?
I think there's like 4 pages maybe, but I promise we're going to do it all together and it's not as bad as it looks. Okay? So on number 10, the very first question I ask is, what does the term relationship mean in science? Because we're going to have that talked about throughout the entire lesson, right? Both of our learning targets have relationship in them. What does relationship mean? Shahad, what does relationship mean? Yeah, they're definitely going to. Yes, they're absolutely going to have a connection. Absolutely. Does anyone want to elaborate more on that? What else could it mean? What else could it mean? You're right. Just elaborate more. What else do we think? Relationship. It's a connection, for sure. Does anyone have anything else they want to add? Anything else? Oh, sorry. They do. They go together. So relationship. Okay, so let's think about it like this. So I love my mom with all my heart, okay? If something happens to my mom, I'm going to be really upset about it, right? Or if something good happens to my mom, I'm going to be real excited for her, right? Okay, so use that. That's like a relationship. Juliana, what do you think?
what person does to the other person?
Yes, it's cause and effect. So it's gonna have something's gonna happen to one, and it's gonna affect the other. That's what relationship is, right? Think about you and your best friend. If your best friend was sad, you'd be sad. If your best friend's happy, you're happy, right? Okay. So all you're gonna write on your paper is just the red, guys. The rest of it is for me to remember. But it's just how one thing affects another. Okay. So it's cause and effect, just like Juliana told us, and they're connected because when something happens to one, how does that affect the other, right? Does that make sense? So we're talking about when something happens to frequency, what happens to wavelength?
It affects frequency effect.
Yeah.
Frequency affects wavelength.
It does. And we're going to figure out how today, Kiana. Does that make sense? Okay, and then when something happens to amplitude, what happens to the energy of the wave? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. And we all have the red written down? On number 1.
Yes.
No.
Okay, I can wait. That's okay. That's fine. And we are all on, number 1 of number 10, right, Kyle? We're good to go? Good, good. All right. Anyone need more time? Give me a thumbs up. Need more time? Okay, cool.
No.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your thumb. I'm so sorry. Just fine. One thing affects another. Are you good? Okay. So we're going to do a prediction to start, okay? So I want you to predict. We're going to predict with both, but predict for me what you think is going to happen when something happens to frequency, what happens to wavelength. This is our relationship, right? I want you to predict. So don't tell me. I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to know. Okay, not right now. I just want you to just think about what you think is going to happen. Okay, so I want you to do questions 2 through 4. And then I want you to do questions 2 through 4. And then you're going to raise your hand and you're just going to ask for a ruler. Okay? Now this ruler is going to help you on questions 5 through 9. Okay? Now, questions 5 through 9 are having you discover what you think the relationship is. So I'm going to give you waves, and you're going to measure the wavelength and count the frequency. And I want you to make a connection between frequency and wavelength. So when the frequency changes, what happens to the wavelength? Does that make sense? So I want you to discover that with the ruler and measuring and going through it. Do you guys get what you're doing? So step 1, do your predictions. Step 2, raise your hand, get a ruler. Step 3, work on questions 5 through 9. Kyle, how can I help?
I need a ruler.
Oh, got it. Is that where you are? 2 X's? Okay, awesome. Everyone good? You guys understand expectations? Good to go? Okay, you guys are awesome. I'm going to flip this over to this page so we know what we're doing, okay? And then I'm going to come around with rulers. You're awesome. Did you do yours? Oh, make sure you do this one too, sweetheart. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you figure it out. So either confirm or deny your ideas, okay? And then we need to just film it. You're awesome. You rock. So maybe I'll make that the refill because just film it like that. You're good. You're good. You're awesome. Thank you. Can I see it? I love it. I love it. Yeah, so you're just going to a banana. You're good. You're good. Can we get it? Is it, good. Oh, sorry, guys. Good. Love it. Love it. Did you want to? Sorry. That was rude. You held out your hand. I put it right out of reach. Did you do this? Thank you. Are you ready? Yeah, you're ready. You made your prediction. You're outside. Now we're going to see if that's true or not, okay? Does anyone need help on... Wait, does everyone get a ruler? Did I miss anyone getting a ruler? Do you need help in your directions? Do you need help? Do you need help? Okay. I'm coming, y'all. There's no wrong answer here, okay? It's just meeting, okay? Make sense? The meat on these two first. And then there's the ruler, okay? You had it though. Okay. Is that 22? Oh, 2. I'm sorry, I missed your dot. I was like, I don't know where you're getting these 22s in your brain is just counting your ruler. So you won't use your, yeah, so 3. So 3 waves. Just write 3 waves. But this is the whole second of the word. So it's 3 waves per second. Does that make sense? Yeah, use them. Any help there? Thank you. Thanks for helping. You should want to check or you want to set it up. So we get this one. But one of them, you know, when you do get to it, okay. I want you to look at it. So the wind frequency decreases, you'll have to change the range. Okay? Does that make sense? You're not. Yeah, Haley. Yeah, about, I think. See, they got like 2 something. See, because if you just from the very tip to the very top here, it's only 2.2. Does that make sense? Oh, got it. Does that make sense? Okay. Can I help you at all?
Yeah, do I put my ruler?
Oh, awesome.
You don't have to do too flat.
Oh my gosh. Whenever you're done with 5 through 9, just let me know so I can come get your ruler, okay?
All you do is like our two
I'm good.
everybody feels the same. This is the first one.
Yeah. 5 through 9. Questions 5 through 9, please, guys.
Could I have the ruler again?
Absolutely. Yeah, no. You good. Thank you. You're awesome. Did you get your predictions correct? Are they correct? Thanks. Okay, you're good. Were your predictions correct? You can't phase him, you know? Yeah, are you good on your ruler? Awesome. Good. Is anyone done with the ruler here? Savannah, are you done with your ruler? Morgan, are you done with your ruler? Oh, you're not done. Sorry. I think you're good? You're done with your ruler? You're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Take my ball like that.
Yeah, don't give ruler. Oh, no. Can't do anything. You're awesome. Alright, guys. I'm going to give, like, 1 more minute to finish this up. Unfortunately, we have to go kind of fast, okay? Hey, Alyssa. Your lucky day. Early dismissal. Bye, Alyssa. I always love you. We'll miss you. You can't. We're going to use it. But if you want to talk a little serious, do you want to get quiet a little bit, or do you want to Alright, guys, I do need all rulers now, so I need all rulers. All rulers. I need all rulers. Thank you. Bye, Alyssa. Okay. All right, guys. Level 0, eyes up here. In 3, 2, 1. Level 0, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Kai.
I was going to ask one question, but you're about to ask.
What am I about to ask? What's my question?
That
What is the
frequency.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll come to you, okay? Give me 2 seconds. So I just wanted you guys to discover the relationship between frequency and wavelength by measuring and counting. You can kind of see what happens, okay? So we're going to start with wave 1, and then we're going to see what happens when we change the frequency. What happens to the wavelength because of the frequency changing, okay? So, Kyle, can you help us out? What's the frequency of this wave right here?
4 hertz.
Yep, 4 hertz, and I love that you added the unit there. I'm not hurt because you got it. Okay. So now let's see here.
How come it's
Oh,
bored?
wait. Can't have any help.
How come it's bored?
Can someone explain actually instead of me? Oh, so Kiana, these are in order. I'm so sorry. These are in order of your paper, okay? This is actually the 3rd wave. I'm sorry, I should have said that. And this is actually the 2nd wave. Kiana, so what did you get on the 3rd wave? Did you get 4?
I didn't even do it.
Oh, did you miss it?
I thought we should do it.
Just do it now. All right. Back up here. So we have our 4 hertz. We have 4 waves per our 1 second, right? Awesome. Let's go to this one now, because as this changes, what happens to this, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. That's a relationship. So something happens with this, what happens to that? Okay, so Juliana, what's the frequency of this wave?
2.
2 what?
That's it.
What do you really hurt if you don't get it right?
Hurt.
Yep, 2 hertz. All right. So now, our relationship. When this changes, what happens to this? How is this affected? So first, what happened? What kind of change happened to frequency? Kyle, what happened?
It decreased.
Yes, it decreased. Okay. So when frequency decreased, wavelength. Okay, so let's just measure it first, and so we can kind of look at it. Anthony, how do I measure the wavelength again?
I need the ball.
I need the. She's got the ball.
You measure it from like the middle part to the other middle part.
This middle part?
Yeah.
This middle part? This middle part?
Okay. I need to go up there to say it.
Okay. If he doesn't get it, it's all yours, okay? Here, measure it for me then in centimeters. What is it?
15 centimeters.
Perfect, love it. 15 centimeters. Juliana, and how do I measure this one then?
It's the same.
I don't know. It looks different to me. Oh, no. Oh, so sorry, guys. This is obviously much bigger than yours, right? So my measurement, your measurement, they're different. Don't change your answer. Don't change your answer. What is it? She says 28 centimeters. I love it. Okay. Thank you, Juliana. All right. So someone tell me my relationship then. So say the cause, say the effect, put it all together. What's my relationship between frequency and wavelength? Kaylee, go for it.
If the frequency is increased, then the wavelength will be decreased. But if the frequency is decreased, then the wavelength will increase.
Perfect. Do you see how she put both the cause and what happened?
I
in her-
heard.
She did. That's okay. You can get it back, I'm sure. Okay. Do you see how she put the cause and the effect, though, in that? She said, when this happens, this is what happens, right? So that was perfect, Haley. Awesome. And then I was going to say one more thing. Oh, another way of thinking about this is, obviously, this is just 1 second and 1 second, right? We talk about that a lot. Okay. If you have a lot more waves put into your 1 second, they're going to be really cramped, right? Okay. So it's like saying, okay, let's say we put like 30 people in this room, and I have so much distance between us, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I got my distance, I'm good, right? We're not like really close. Okay, but let's say we put like 60 more people in this room. Do you think that you'd have a lot of space?
No.
No. Our wavelengths will be real close, right? So I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Okay, does that make sense? Got it? Okay. We're good on this. Let's turn to number 9. Oh, Haley just told us this wonderfully, so I'm sure everyone got number 9. But when frequency increases, wavelength will decrease, right? We just said this. And when frequency decreases, wavelength will increase. So if you did not get that, now's your time to do that. Does anyone need my help with number 9? Good to go?
What
Okay.
about number 8?
Number 8. Number 8 was just your waves that you were measuring, correct? Oh, number 8 was just that same thing, the same concept that we just talked about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I messed up a little bit, and we're on to our next learning target now. When I did that, I accidentally had the number start back over from 1. I don't know why that did that, but so we're back on number 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're back to number 1. Okay. What I want to do first, though, is can we rate ourselves and see kind of where we stand on, do you guys know the relationship between amplitude and energy? If you don't know anything and you're like, I don't know what that is, that's fine. That's fine, just give me a 1. If, let's say, like, you could teach it to your neighbor and you could teach it, like be me, you're going to give me a 5, okay? So 1 means I don't know the relationship between amplitude and energy. 5 means I'm, like, good to go.
What if you're in the middle?
So you could be a 3, you could be a 2, you could be a 4. Okay, so hold up a number 2, 1 through 5. Okay, it doesn't have to be 1 or 5, just 1 through 5. What do we think? What do we think? Cameron, where do you think you are? Ernesto, where do you think you are? Good, guys, good, good. Okay. Where do you think you are? Good, thank you, good. Yusuf, where do you think you are?
I'm sorry, I don't get it.
That's all right, you don't have to. We haven't done it yet. No, it's fine. Where do you think you are? Yusuf, where are you? 3. Isis, where are you?
Like the more
4, got it. Okay, and I'm missing Ernesto. Where are you? On your scale.
I'm a 3.
Do you understand it?
I'm a 1.
Do you not understand it? Will you hold it? 1 or 5? 1 through 5.
Nestle's dead.
1. Okay. Ooh, Kyle. Oh. All right, now we're back on our predictions.
What are you doing?
Ooh, I don't know what's going on right now, but that needs to stop. Okay. So now, back to predictions. So we're on our second learning target. We're talking about amplitude and energy and how they're related. So I want you to make a prediction now on this relationship. So I predict that a wave with a high amplitude has more or less energy. Okay, then I want you to go through how you think amplitude and energy are related right now. Okay? After you come up with those predictions, now don't start predicting though right now because you're going to get really confused here if you start predicting. So I still with me, Hannah, with me. You don't do anything wrong. Just this is going to get confusing if you start predicting right away. So how we're going to discover as to if our predictions are correct is I'm going to give you guys the beaded chain again. So it's the return of the beaded chain. Okay, episode 5.2. Okay. Anyway, what we're going to do with this is we're going to model another wave with it. Remember how we did that before? We had someone hold and we had someone create, right? Okay. We're going to model waves again with this, but this time, Anthony, it's going to be very directed as to what you should be doing. Okay. You're going to have partners. So it looks like everyone's good on partners. You're just going to have to be a group of 3, unfortunately. If I can help you, I will. But you're just going to have to probably be 3. Okay. You can have 2 people hold it. It's fine. I'll help you. In your group, or in your partners, you are going to have one person hold to start. And to start, one person's going to create a wave. Does that make sense? So that would mean that you're the holder 1 or the wave creator 1. Okay? Then we're going to flip-flop. And then the other person's going to get to make the wave, and the other person's going to hold. Does that make sense? Okay. So step 1 is coming up with your predictions. Step 2 is letting me know that you're done with your predictions so that you can then come up with your holder 1, okay, and your wave creator 1, and your holder 2, and your wave creator 2. Does that make sense, or did I just like lose you? Haley, will you explain what I was just saying with the holder part? I know the prediction part you guys get.
Okay, so you hold the beaded chain, so I'm going to hold 1 and Anthony's going to hold 1, right? And then we're going to example of the wave, and then you look at the amplitude and you either agree if it's increased or decreased by it.
Yes. Okay. So what's going to happen, the moral of the story, is I'm going to have like holder 1's hold, wave creators 1, create wave. And I'm going to tell them what kind of wave to create. Okay? And then, after we do that, they're going to flip-flop. And then it's going to be holder 2's going to hold, so now Haley's going to hold, and then Anthony's going to wave create. Okay? So what I want you to do is make predictions. After you're done with your predictions, I want you to decide who's going to be your holder 1, who's going to be your wave creator 1. And then, obviously, it's going to be the opposite for 2. Does that make sense? Once you have that all established, I will give you your beaded chain. Okay? Just hold it for now, because I'm going to give you time limits as to when to do the waves and everything like that. Does that make sense? Just hold on to the chain for now, and then we'll start together. Okay? Okay, so get your predictions done, figure out who's going to be the holder, and I'll come around with beads. Holders first, and with creators first. Does that make sense? Any confusions? All right, so make your predictions, and I can help you with the holders if you're confused about what I mean by that. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Okay, so you're awesome. Let's get Michael all caught up too. Then I want you guys to come with. I just hold her. Who's going to create the way first? And I want you to write on here who's going to hold second and who's going to create second. Does that make sense? Once you get that filled out, let me know and bring you your heated shape. Okay. Okay, when you get your predictions done, let me know so you can hold this. Okay, you guys got your predictions? Who's going to be holder first? Okay, so write your name here. You're holder 1. Okay. Which means that you're going to be wave creator 2.
Can I hold it first?
So Anthony's going to create the wave first. You're going to create the wave second. No, you're fine. That's fine. So put Anthony on. Sorry. And then you're going to flip so that Anthony's going to hold. And you're going to create. Does that make sense? Okay. Anthony, are you good? Okay. All right, you guys have your predictions, right? All right, make sure that you also have. Make sure you also have. And then who's creating first? Okay, and then you'll hold second, right? Okay, so make sure that you have the same thing written down, Watermark. Okay, awesome. And then when you're done with that, filling out the holder and the wave creator, let me know. I'll give you your. Yeah. Wait, I forgot you tell me. Can we? Chad Harlan, right? Okay, but the moment you come to what happened? Okay, do you guys come with your holders? Who's going to hold first? Who's going to get first? Hang tight for me though, don't actually start.
So you write it, create how you
Then
wait.
you're going to hold second. Hold it down. And then it's
Write it
hang
out.
tight.
No,
Okay?
no,
Hang tight for me.
no, nothing. All right, now play it.
So let's have one person hold first. Okay? The other person can create. Right? Does that make sense? And then let's make sure the holder, let's have one person to sit out. And then let's have holder and then green. Okay? Let's have
Dress code.
holder 1 will be sit out. Both
I have never
I said yeah. And then what's going to happen is as soon as you're going to create weights, your weight creator is but then the holder, let's just have that be okay, does that make sense? So I think you don't have to do anything. Does that make sense? So as soon as you're going to have to hold both. They're both on side. Make sense? Okay. And then, who still needs a beaded chain? Good guys. Okay, cool. You're awesome. Oh, sorry, I was waiting.
Like those shirts, but like the boy one had like this cool thing.
With the guys on the way.
Alright, who does not have, oh, sorry guys. All the people patiently raising their hands do not. Alright guys, everyone has their beaded chain now. So I need holders to hold, and I need wave creators to wait patiently. So please don't create any waves yet. Holders, please just hold. Wave creators hold, or hang tight for me.
Yeah, I'm hang tight.
Hang tight.
Wait, are we supposed to like?
No, don't do anything yet. Just hold. Holders hold.
Like this way or?
You know, if you need a little extra and want to go on the floor, that's okay. You need extra room. All right, is everyone happy with where their location is? Yes. Holders, are you holding?
Yes.
Okay. Wave creators, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. You are going to make a low amplitude wave. Before we start, I need you with me. What is a low amplitude wave before we begin? What is it, Kyle?
A wave that's low.
A wave that's low. Let's just describe a little more. What do you mean by that? Like when you're creating your wave, how do you make a low amplitude wave?
You swing your arm back and forth very lightly.
Okay, so you're not going to move it very far, right? So low amplitude, just moving your hand back and forth just a little bit, but getting the energy all the way down. Tristan, honey. Okay? Versus a high amplitude wave, you're going to move your arm back and forth really far, correct? Yeah, but low amplitude, high amplitude, right? Okay, cool. Wave creators, are you ready? You're going to do it for 1 minute. You're going to create a low, low, low amplitude wave for 1 minute. Got it? Go. On your mark. Get set. Go. Low amplitude wave. Low amplitude. Low amplitude. Low amplitude. Get it all the way to the end.
A little
There you go. Low amplitude wave. Get it all the way to the end. Use that strength. Use that strength. There you go.
Don't move your hand. Don't move your hand. Look.
Go, Anthony. Go, Anthony. All the way to the end. Oh, get your. There you go. Get that energy to the end. Get that energy to the end. I'm so sorry. Alright guys, you got 20 more seconds. Get that energy all the way to the end. Low amplitude wave. Low amplitude wave. You like ours? Alright guys, stop. Pause for me. Pause. Alright, wave creators, you are now going to produce a high amplitude wave for 1 minute. Does that make sense? Yes. So, same wave creator. Same wave creator. Do not switch who's the wave creator. Wave creators, you have 1 minute. High amplitude wave. Go. High amplitude wave, wave creators. High amplitude wave. On the deck.
Faster. Make them big. Yeah.
Move that arm far back and forth. Move that arm really far back and forth. Far. Far back and forth. Back and forth, I mean, not up and down. High amplitude. High amplitude.
Faster.
10 more seconds. High amplitude. Move that arm back and forth.
Keep making them big. There you go.
Okay, pause. Okay, we do need to switch now. Remember how everyone's going to get to be the wave creator and everyone's the holder. So, if you were just the holder, you are now the wave creator. If you were just the wave creator, you are now the holder. Wave creator 2, are you ready? Yes. Wave creator 2, are you ready? Are you? Yes. Wave creator 2, are you ready? Yes. Okay, cool. Wave creator 2, on your mark. Oh, low amplitude. Wave creator 2, you're making low amplitude. Just move your arm just a little bit. Wave creator 2, on your mark. Get set. Go. Go, wave creator 2. Make that small amplitude wave. Good, Tristan. Oh, only one. Only one's the wave creator. Only one. There could be only one.
There you go.
40 more seconds. Wave creator. Go.
It's like a little warm.
Alright, 10 more seconds on that low amplitude wave.
It's like a heartbeat.
Those models are those machines or models of waves. Alright, time. Wave creator 2, are you ready for your high amplitude wave? Alright, wave creator 2, you have 1 minute to make a high amplitude wave. Move that arm really far back and forth, okay? Okay, wave creator 2, begin.
Bigger.
Move that arm far back and forth. Far back and forth. There you go, Tristan. I like it. One more. Oh, be careful, you two. Are you going to try that?
Look at Michael. Michael's good.
No, he's coming. Oh, look at over there. Come on. Jump.
Bigger, 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 bigger.
Good job, Michael. Yay. Good job, Michael.
Put your bead and chain back in your bag and hold them up in the air so I can collect them. Put your bead and chain back in your bag, hold them in the air so I can collect them. I need all bead and chains in like 10 seconds. chains in 3. I need all beaded chains in 2. I need all beaded chains in 1. I need all beaded chains. Way to be creative, guys. I need all beaded chains. Who am I missing? Nice job, guys. Way to go. Alright, guys, level 0. Eyes up here in 3, 2, 1. Level 0, please. Okay. So now, why did I do that, right? Okay, what did we discover? So we're going to first, I'll come back to you, okay? So we're going to first rate how difficult it was. So how difficult was it for you to create that low amplitude wave for 1 minute? So 1 being like, that was the easiest thing ever. 10 being like, oh my goodness. Okay, Kyle, what did you think?
Like, kind of throw my arm out a little bit.
So if you put a number on it, what would it be?
6.
A 6? Okay, does anyone agree or disagree? Anthony, what do you think? A 2. Haley, what do you think?
A 9.
It was not that hard.
It was. Anthony kept yanking on it.
So, okay, so that was not the same. We changed another factor in our experiment, so therefore it threw off our results, I see. Savannah, how hard was it for you?
It was actually extremely hard. It was like,
You are so silly. So, Savannah, what would you say this was then? With the high amplitude wave.
50,000.
So it still increased though, right?
Yeah.
So this still got more challenging. So we put a scale on 1,000 to 50,000. Okay, it still did increase, right? So if we say this is about a 2 on our scale, let's say this is about a, what would it be?
100,000.
I was thinking like a 6.
Trillion.
Yeah. Okay.
My arm is numb.
Is that okay? 8 to 10 million? We're all good? Okay. So my point, why did I have us do this then? Do we all have our ratings?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Which wave was more difficult to create then? Anthony, which one? Oh, time out. Shouting out. Thank you. Anthony?
The big one.
The big one, the high amplitude wave, right? Okay, so therefore, Soonest, which one takes more energy to create? The high amplitude wave, correct? Okay? So remember our learning target here, between amplitude and energy. What is that relationship? Okay? So that next question then just asks, overall, a wave with high amplitude has what? More or less energy? Chad, what do you think? More energy, right? Okay, and then that low amplitude wave, Isabella, does a low amplitude wave have more or less energy?
Less.
Less, right? Okay, so that last question then, are we good on this, the high amplitude, before I go too fast? Okay. So I just talked about these, right? So high amplitude, more energy. Low amplitude, less energy, right? Okay, are we good on those? Am I going too fast? Sorry, I am kind of hustling because we do have one more thing before you do. We're good? Test? Oh no, it's just a really simple exercise. Really simple. No, not me. Okay, so finally, what is that relationship? So you guys remember how Haley explained that relationship really well earlier? Okay, and she said that this did this and blah, blah. She did a really good job. Can we now say that for what is the relationship between amplitude and energy? Savannah? Okay, they can both increase or decrease. Now, make it a cause and effect for me. So say, when this happens, this happens. Say it one more time.
Energy will decrease and amplitude decreases.
No.
Is that
Not quite, you're okay. So, does it help if I add this? Okay. So a wave with high amplitude has more or less energy? More. Okay, so always start with your amplitude has more energy. Low amplitude has, Savannah? Less. Okay, did that help?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is kind of hard though, taking my knowledge to making a relationship. You know, that really is difficult. That's a skill that I'm trying to teach, okay? So it's just taking what you know and then making that into that cause and effect relationship. When this happens, what happens to the other thing, okay? And it is challenging. Okay? Now rate yourself. So what do we feel like now on the learning target of identifying the relationship between amplitude and energy? Where do we feel like we are?
1 through 5.
1, I still don't know. 5 being like, I could teach this tomorrow. What do we think? I need everyone's hand before we can go on. Ernesto, I need everyone's hand. Every single person. Good, good, good. I see a lot more fives. I like this. You rock. I love it. Okay, cool. I see a lot more increase. Awesome, guys. Okay, so our exit slip today. Super simple, but it might sound kind of complicated. You're getting 2 Post-its. Okay, you're getting a green and a pink. The green, you're answering the green question on it. The pink, you're answering the pink question on it. Does that make sense? Okay, so green, question 1, pink, question 2. What you're going to do then is on your way out today,